Hey there, David Coe with the Real Estate Group, and on this week's newsletter, I want to give you an update on where we are with the real estate market. So I'm going to share a couple of graphs with you here. To put it in context, the blue line is what's happening in LA County as a whole. The red line down here is what's happening here in the South Bay. The first thing we're going to look at is there's been a dramatic decrease in the number of transactions. All right, so when we look here, this is at the end of October in LA County, we were down to 3,800 total transactions. The South Bay was 296. This is the lowest level since we've been really when COVID first hit, May of 2020. We can see that, we were down to 2,900 transactions in LA County and 239 in the South Bay. So the number of transactions has come way down, and primarily due to interest rates. It's also having an impact on pending sales. You can see that pending sales kind of peaked this year back in March in LA County and has steadily dropped once again all the way back down to where we were when COVID first hit in April of 2020. And as you might imagine, pending sales dropped in April of 2020. Therefore, closed sales dipped in May of 2020 as well. And same thing here in the South Bay. We were down to 225 pending transactions in April of 2020, and as of last year was 222. So almost exactly the same amount as where we were. Days on market is definitely increasing, although you can see it's kind of starting to flatten out. LA County, we're up to 21 days of days on market is the median. South Bay is 16, although that dropped in October. And I attribute that less to being an increase in demand and more to being a decrease in supply. But I think it's interesting when you look back pre-pandemic, back in January of 2020, even the levels that we're at right now, and even looking back further, we're still in a fairly limited supply market, although there's definitely been a decrease in demand. And lastly, I think the thing to look at is pricing and just where we're at. Here we go on sales price. We clearly peaked back in May of 2022. LA County, the median price per home was $900,000. Actually, here in the South Bay, it got up to over $1 million, actually over 1.1 million. And you can see that prices have dropped in LA County. We're down year over year. We're still up. I think it's interesting that, looking back to where we were last year, we're up 1.5% in LA County and 10% in the South Bay. But if you just look back to where we were when we kind of peaked back here in May, we're down, although it seems to be stabilizing, at least in October, in the South Bay, and perhaps still going a little bit down in LA County. And then the last chart I want to share with you is, one of the things that we've really been looking at is inflation rates. We think that, as we get through the end of this year, which, we're in the holiday season, there's some seasonality, markets are starting to kind of dwindle naturally anyway, regardless of what's happening with interest rates. But this is a chart that we've been paying close attention to is the level of inflation. We topped out at about 9.1%, but you can see ever since this June number, we're down and seem to be on a steady decline. So, our hope is that as inflation continues to tick down here, that the Fed will stop their pushing up the high interest rates, and mortgage interest rates are going to start to come down. And then we think there'll be a lot of pent up demand based on what's happened this year, in the first to second quarter of next year. So that's to take a look at where the market is. If you've got any specific questions on your property, or if you're looking to buy versus renting and want to get some advice on how we think you should personally navigate this market, feel free to reach out to me or one of the agents on the team. We would love to chat with you. David Coe with the Real Estate Group. I hope you're doing well.